many things affect your life as much as slow traffic and bad weather? Listen tomorrow morning for Traffic and Weather Together every 10 minutes on the 9s on KSL News Radio.
Cougar Nation, welcome back in. Hope you're having a fantastic Monday evening wherever and however you're listening to the show. Join us, 801-575-8255. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte here. We're ready to take your phone calls and answer tonight's question on BYU basketball. What must this BYU team do to make you believe they can make the NCAA tournament? We'll get out to the phone line and welcome in. Is it Linda? Linda, what say you, Linda? What makes you believe that BYU will get to the NCAA tournament?
I think the way they played last week was fantastic, and if they can just do the same thing and just get the score shots in by Denning and Trevin and Richie and they just did a wonderful job. Everybody just pitched in and did a wonderful job. Of course, those three were the top three that I just mentioned, but I just thought it was really a great thing. I was just thrilled. And it was neat. We were on ESPN, too, as well. That was nice.
Thank you, Linda. Matt, what say you? What do you think that BYU needs to do to make you believe that they can make the NCAA tournament?
They have to beat Baylor. They don't have a quad one win yet, Mitch, and they're going to need several of those. They have a lot of opportunities to do so, but Baylor, to me, is a very winnable game. I don't look at Baylor and say this is a Final Four team. I don't look at them and think that they're going to run the Big 12. But yet, Baylor has a nice cachet. They have a nice brand that they've built under Coach Drew. And if you get them at home, you got the Rock behind you, you're back in the Marriott Center, you have to break through and get one of these wins. It's nice that you beat Colorado. It's nice that you beat Cincinnati. But they haven't beaten anybody yet to where you feel like, okay, this team is ascending. They can get it done against some of the best teams in college basketball. Baylor's not one of the best teams in college basketball, but they are a top 25 team. They have to beat Baylor so that I can believe that they can win some more quad one games down the road.
It's pretty crazy to see how much the schedule cranks up for BYU. The next 5 games are all quad one. And if you're not familiar with the quad system, it's how the NCAA selection committee brackets out these teams and ranks them within their net ratings. And basically teams that are ranked 1 to 30 on your home floor, you play them, it's a quad one game. 1 to 75 road game, it's a quad one team. So a lot of quality games for BYU's resume on the docket. 8 out of the next 9 are quad one teams. So we're going to learn a lot about BYU in the month of February, and it really kind of gets going at the end of January here tomorrow night against Baylor. To me, I think BYU has got to finish with a winning record in Big 12 play if they're going to make the NCAA tournament. 11-9 would be that mark for BYU to get that winning record, because the strength of schedule in non-conference is incredibly weak. There's nothing on the bone there when it comes to non-conference wins. NC State, that win in San Diego has done nothing for BYU. NC State is really the team they were last season until they got hot in March and made a run to the Final Four. They've been a bust this year. So BYU has got to have a winning record, I think, at least in Big 12 play if they have any shot. And right now you're at 4-4. That would mean over the next 12 games you go 7-5. And with how difficult the schedule is, as I noted, that's going to be a tall order for BYU. But I do believe that this BYU team has the ability to do it, because last week was so promising, Matt. And when they were down 10 at Colorado in Boulder, I thought season might be done. And then Richie Saunders single-handedly put together a 7-0 run that was great on both ends of the floor. And in many respects, it saved BYU's season. And, I hope for BYU that they can continue to stack up these wins. And that's what Kevin Young is hoping to see from his team that continues to grow confidence.
I feel good. Winning obviously breeds confidence. Shot making breeds confidence. So, the season is, you always have ups and downs, and you hope to capitalize on the ups and build on them. That's kind of what I told our guys. We want to we've really stacked good days practice-wise, and now we got to stack wins.
Well said by Kevin Young, and it's specific to the wins, Mitch. They have to find ways to win games. And a lot of these losses, they were right there. At Utah, winnable game. You go back to that MTE in Southern California against Ole Miss, a lot of opportunities, and turnovers hurt them in those losses. It's not like this team in the losses, Mitch, they're not consistently getting blown out. They're right there, but they have to break through. Now, I thought against Cincinnati, one thing that was really noteworthy and helpful going forward is it wasn't just one or two guys. Cannon Catchings had a really nice bounce-back game. I don't know if you can expect 3 or 4 shooting from 3 every time, but it was nice to see Cannon back in the rotation, scoring points. That's what you need. Dawson Baker, I think, continues to play at a high level, and he gives you some scoring off the bench as well. So it was really encouraging in that win against the Bearcats that it wasn't just Richie and Yegor. There were others who contributed, and you need a balanced scoring attack to win some of these quad one games coming up.
BYU's team, they have a lot of personnel that they can throw at opponents. You know, if someone is having an off night, that's not the end of the world because, you know, Kevin Young has gone deep into the season, you know, basically to this point, and had games where he's played, you know, 11 guys. Just last week at Colorado, he had 11 guys get action, and even someone like Mihailo Boscovich had a role in that Colorado game and did a nice job at the 5. Didn't play much in the Cincinnati game. I don't think it was a great matchup for Boscovich in that one, but you know, that's the nice thing that this BYU team has, and for the, you know, last couple weeks, they've stayed relatively healthy finally, and it's, you know, they're getting into a routine, whereas December it was, you know, basically you never played and everyone's banged up, it felt like. And now, even though you're navigating the grind of Big 12 play and a 20-game season, this team feels like they're in good spirits and they're healthy. And, you know, I think that this team's in a really good place right now, Matt, but you're right. I mean, I think that tomorrow night against Baylor is really going to tell us a lot about the direction of where this season goes, because Baylor is a team that the metrics like them a lot. They're a top 30 team, but they haven't really beat anyone of substance, anyone that they face that's in the upper tier of the sport. Gonzaga, Tennessee, Iowa State, they've just pretty much been hammered. They've lost by double digits to all those teams. You know, if BYU can get a comfortable victory over the Bears, I think that would be another nice win to really stack it up, as Kevin Young said, and really give this team even more momentum and more validation that they're not just beating up on the bad teams. They can contend with some of the best programs in the Big 12 with this group.
Tomorrow's night is huge, Mitch. If they win that game, it does validate the progress and the momentum, and you get more confidence, and you get a resume-building win. If you lose that game, especially if it's in the fashion in which they've lost other games, bad free throw shooting, poor three-point shooting, turnovers down the stretch, then it sort of feels like you're back to square one. Like, yeah, great wins against Colorado and Cincinnati, that's great. But if we're talking about the NCAA Tournament, and we're talking about playing meaningful games in March, these are the type of games you have to win. And unfortunately, that non-conference schedule didn't provide a lot of opportunities for this team to boost the resume. They have to do it now. The margin of error is slim. And at home specifically, Mitch, that's where they need to take advantage of these opportunities.
It's pretty amazing, too, when you size up BYU and Baylor. Very similar profiles statistically on the court. BYU's averaging 80.4 points per game. Baylor, 79.9. Scoring defense, 66.2 for BYU. 67.8 for Baylor. I mean, you can go through. This is a very evenly matched matchup, and BYU is the favorite in this game, and I think you give a little bit of an edge to the home team, and I think the Marriott Center is always good for a couple points because that place can get rocking, and I expect a energetic crowd because the name on the opponent's jersey, I think, is going to register a little more energy hosting a program like Baylor, who, you know, just 4 years ago won a national title. I don't think they've come anywhere close to those heights recently for Baylor, but still, they've got great talent, and there's going to be a lot of NBA personnel at that game, 26 scouts from 13 different teams. So this is going to be a must-see event, and BYU looks to get a big win to really add to that they're a factor into the Big 12 race.
Let's get to a break, Mitch. On the other side, we'll get to what's trending up and down, and, of course, Cougar Nation, where are you at? We're taking your calls. We want to hear your thoughts on what does this team need to do to get into the NCAA tournament, or at least make you believe they can get there. And, hey, why not else share some thoughts on this team? Some of the players, of course, call in because Cougar Nation, this is for you. Back after this.